this I call seawater potatoes, right?
Okay.
And it's a super easy recipe because all you have to do is basically throw some potatoes on with some water and throw in like a baby's handful of salt.
A lot of salt.
And it doesn't matter if it's a big baby. You want it to be a big baby's handful of salt.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And what happens is you just cook it until the water dissolves.
Dissolves away.
Totally dissolves away. You can see right here what you're left with.
Potatoes.
These little salted whole potatoes, and they sort of burst in your mouth because the skin makes this sort of encapsulation. And it sounds super modern, but it's an ancient recipe from like seafaring villages, right?
Nice.
They would just cook the potatoes in seawater, and you can see the potato looks sort of like a surfer's wetsuit would, right? When it dries, right? And it's got a great texture to it. So that's going to be one part of our salad.
Wow,
and then we're going to make something
like
beautiful.
Sounds super fancy, mustard caviar, right?
Yeah.
Mustard caviar sounds incredibly fancy, but it's not. It's just mustard seeds, which sort of look like caviar. And I'm going to add some water and a little bit of sugar. And that's going to make, you might say that that's a most startup, but that sounds too fancy. I like caviar. I like calling it a caviar. And that's going to cook.
Like caviar.
And when it's done, you can see right here, this is our mustard caviar.
It's beautiful.
It looks like fish eggs.
Smells great,
right?
too.
But there's our sauce, and that's going to be sweet and sour, a little bit spicy.
Yum.
And then we're going to plate our potato salad right over here. So this is a little bit more of that Mexican crema. All right, and
how long did it take you to create all this recipe?
These things happen. They just sort of, you know, my cooks will talk about it, we'll collaborate.
And all of a sudden?
Or I'll be reading an old cookbook and I'll be like, wow, they used to cook potatoes in seawater.
A lot of this stuff is ancient,
Okay,
exactly.
So we got that.
All right, so we have that there.
So you got some crema.
We're going to plate some of our salty seawater potatoes on top of this.
I just had a half. It's good.
Yeah, they're really good, right? And you want
the texture's very unusual.
They're on their own, they might be a little salty, but once they hit the cream and the sweet caviar, it sort of all makes sense. I mean, at the end of the day, this looks fancy, but I'm basically making a baked potato, right? I mean, it's sour cream.
Exactly, sure.
Potatoes.
Baked potato with sour cream.
And it's a way to sort of really wow your guests. It looks a lot fancier than it is, right? The flavors are very familiar. And then we're going to garnish it with some traditional
bacon.
Some bacon bits.
You can't beat bacon bits.
Everything's better with bacon and onion.
Lots of scallion. And then for a little bit of this sweetness, a little bit of this mustard caviar.
And then the caviar.
Right?
Oh my God,
Mustard
that's gorgeous.
caviar.
Isn't that gorgeous?
Caviar, right? So that's
stunning.
restaurant worthy for your picnic table.
Very nice.
All right.